These four things God always does to the narcissist. Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to talk to you about a powerful truth, the way God interacts with those who exhibit narcissistic traits. We live in a world where selfishness and self-centeredness can sometimes overshadow the light of compassion and humility. But rest assured, there are four divine actions that God takes when confronted with narcissism. These actions not only serve to bring accountability, but also provide a pathway for transformation and redemption. God exposes the truth. First and foremost, God shines a light on the hidden truths. He reveals the true nature of narcissism, helping us see beyond the surface. Narcissists often build walls around themselves, crafting a facade that masks their inner turmoil. But God knows our hearts. He gently but firmly exposes these truths so that we can confront our shortcomings and make necessary changes. God offers grace and mercy. In His infinite wisdom, God extends grace and mercy to all of us, including those struggling with narcissistic tendencies. He knows that we are all imperfect beings in need of His love. God's grace serves as a reminder that no one is beyond redemption. Even the most self-absorbed individuals can experience profound change when they open their hearts to divine love. Yes, but why do we do this? God says, no one is perfect. It said that in the gospel. God calls for accountability. God holds everyone accountable for their actions. He invites us to take responsibility for our behavior and its impact on others. This call for accountability can be uncomfortable, but is essential for growth. When we acknowledge our flaws and take ownership of our actions, we can begin the journey toward healing and transformation. God provides opportunities for change. Finally, God creates opportunities for transformation. He places people and experiences in our lives that challenge us to grow and evolve. Through these divine interventions, narcissists are given the chance to step outside of themselves, learn empathy, and connect with others on a deeper level. It is in these moments that true change can begin. As we reflect on these four divine actions, let us remember that we all have the potential for growth. Whether we see these traits in ourselves or in others, there is hope. God's love and guidance are always present, encouraging us to evolve into better versions of ourselves. So I urge you, whether you struggle with narcissism or know someone who does, embrace these truths. Allow God's light to shine on your life, accept His grace, take accountability for your actions, and seize the opportunities for change that He presents. Substantiation is the art of separating the change from the chasing. Together, let's rise above self-centeredness and embrace a life filled with compassion, empathy, and love. Let's make the choice to be vessels of God's grace in a world that desperately needs it. Thank you. God exposes the truth. In our journey through life, we often encounter shadows, the places where our true selves hide. God is a master of illumination, and His light has a unique way of penetrating these shadows. When we think we have built impenetrable walls to guard our insecurities, God reveals the truth of our hearts. This revelation can be both frightening and liberating. It's in these moments of exposure that we are given the chance to confront our authentic selves. So sometimes, the narcissistic persona thrives on illusion. It creates a world where self-deception reigns supreme. This is where God's grace comes in, cutting through the chaos and revealing the stark reality of our situation. The truths that God uncovers aren't meant to shame us, but to free us from the chains of ignorance. It's a divine invitation to peel back the layers of falsehood we've wrapped around ourselves. Imagine standing in front of a mirror that reflects not just your outward appearance, but your inner essence. What if you could see every flaw and imperfection, yet also every ounce of potential and brilliance? God's light acts as this mirror, showing us our shortcomings, while reminding us of the infinite possibilities for growth and change. Acknowledging the truth is the first step towards transformation. Not who we are, we ever were. We need to stop waving the flag of self-actualization and walk in the truth of who we are. And change is possible. This exposure can be uncomfortable. No one enjoys being laid bare for the world to see, especially when it reveals our vulnerabilities. Yet in that discomfort lies the seed of growth. When we face the truth, we're forced to confront the very behaviors that keep us stuck in a cycle of narcissism. It requires courage to look at ourselves honestly, but that is where true strength is found. It is essential to understand that this process of exposure is not an act of punishment. Instead, it is a profound act of love. God's desire is for us to thrive, to live in the fullness of our potential. By bringing our truths to light, He equips us with the knowledge needed to enact meaningful change in our lives. It's a divine strategy designed for our ultimate well-being. He raises His hand and waves us forward, informing us it's time to raise our hand. When we choose to embrace the truth that God reveals, we take a significant step toward healing. We begin to understand the consequences of our actions and how they impact those around us. This newfound awareness can ignite a desire to change, leading to genuine connections with others. The walls that once separated us from authentic relationships can start to crumble. Let's consider the power of vulnerability in relationships. When we are open and honest about our flaws, we invite others to do the same. This shared honesty creates a bond that transcends superficial connections. It fosters empathy and understanding, bridging the gaps that narcissism often creates. God knows the importance of these connections and gently nudges us toward them. As we grow in our ability to acknowledge our truths, we also cultivate self-compassion. This means recognizing that we are all imperfect beings navigating a complex world. Embracing our imperfections can lead to greater acceptance of others. When we see our own struggles reflected in those around us, we begin to cultivate empathy instead of judgment. The exposure of truth ultimately leads to empowerment. When we accept our realities, we reclaim the power to change our narratives. No longer are we passive participants in our lives. We become active architects of our destinies. We learn that the truth, while initially uncomfortable, is the gateway to a life of authenticity and fulfillment. So, when you find yourself in the presence of God's illuminating light, embrace it. Let it guide you through the labyrinth of your own heart. Trust that the truths revealed are gifts meant to propel you forward. Allow this divine exposure to shape you into the person you are meant to be, free from the shackles of self-deception. In this journey of self-discovery, remember that you are not alone. God walks with you, offering love and guidance every step of the way. As you unveil your truths, you'll find a community of support waiting to embrace you. Together, we can create a world where honesty flourishes and narcissism fades into the background. Ultimately, God's exposure of the truth is an act of empowerment. It is a chance to step into the fullness of who we are, shedding the masks we've worn for too long. With each truth revealed, we move closer to living a life of authenticity, purpose, and deep connection with others. This journey is a continuous process, and every step forward is a testament to our resilience. God offers grace and mercy. Grace and mercy are two of the most profound gifts we can receive, especially in a world often marked by judgment and condemnation. God's grace is an unmerited favor that envelops us, regardless of our flaws or failures. It's that gentle reminder that we are worthy of love and acceptance, no matter how far we stray. In a society that often penalizes narcissism, God's grace is a beacon of hope. When we talk about narcissism, it's easy to focus on the negative traits associated with it. We think of selfishness, lack of empathy, and a relentless pursuit of validation. Yet God sees beyond these surface behaviors. He recognizes the pain and insecurity that often drive narcissistic tendencies. His grace flows freely to those who seek healing, offering them a pathway back to their true selves. Imagine standing in a vast ocean, waves crashing around you. Each wave represents a mistake or misstep you've taken. In this tumultuous sea, grace acts as a life raft, keeping you afloat when you feel like you're sinking. It reminds you that you're not defined by your past actions, but rather by the potential for growth and transformation that lies ahead. Mercy is the companion of grace, a soothing balm for our weary souls. While grace gives us the freedom to start anew, mercy ensures that we are not punished for our missteps. God's mercy invites us to step away from guilt and shame, allowing us to embrace a future filled with hope. It's a gentle nudge that whispers, "You are loved, and you are enough." For those struggling with narcissism, accepting grace and mercy can be a life-altering experience. It shifts the focus from self-absorption to self-reflection. Instead of seeking external validation, individuals are encouraged to turn inward and discover their inherent worth. This journey begins with the understanding that they are loved unconditionally by a higher power. As we open ourselves to grace, we create space for empathy to flourish. When we realize that we too are deserving of love and acceptance, we become more inclined to extend that same grace to others. This shift from a self-centered mindset to one of compassion is transformational. It allows us to connect with others on a deeper level, fostering genuine relationships built on understanding. God's grace and mercy remind us that change is possible. No matter how entrenched in narcissism one might feel, there is always a way forward. It takes humility to accept help and recognize that we don't have to navigate this journey alone. In moments of despair, God's grace serves as a guiding light, illuminating the path to healing and redemption. All of these things can happen by way of self-reflection and self-healing. In the same way we surmise, consider the power of forgiveness that arises from grace. When we accept that we are flawed yet loved, we begin to forgive ourselves for past mistakes. This self-forgiveness is crucial in breaking the cycle of narcissism. It liberates us from the heavy burden of guilt and shame, allowing us to embrace our imperfections and learn from them. As we extend grace to ourselves, we become more forgiving of others. This creates a ripple effect where kindness and compassion spread beyond our individual experiences. When we choose to respond to others with grace, we contribute to a more loving and understanding world. It becomes a movement of transformation that elevates everyone involved. Embracing grace and mercy requires vulnerability. It means allowing ourselves to be seen, flaws and all, in the presence of God and others. This vulnerability fosters authentic connections, breaking down the barriers that narcissism erects. In these connections, we find healing, understanding, and the love that nurtures growth. The beauty of God's grace lies in its availability. It's not reserved for the perfect or those who meet a certain standard. It's a gift offered freely to everyone, regardless of their past or present struggles. All we need to do is open our hearts and accept it. This acceptance is a powerful act of faith that transforms our lives and the lives of those around us. And to navigate our journeys, let us hold on to the truth that grace and mercy are always within reach. They are constants in a world filled with uncertainty. By embracing these gifts, we become conduits of love, offering compassion to ourselves and others. The more we practice grace, the more we can illuminate the lives of those around us, fostering a culture of kindness. In conclusion, God's grace and mercy are transformative forces that have the power to change lives. They invite us to step away from narcissism and into a life of empathy and connection. As we accept these gifts, we open ourselves up to a world of possibilities where love reigns supreme and relationships flourish. Together, we can create a legacy of grace that transcends the boundaries of our individual experiences. God calls for accountability. Accountability is a powerful concept, one that can be both daunting and liberating. When we talk about accountability in the context of narcissism, it becomes an essential tool for transformation. God calls us to take responsibility for our actions, challenging us to reflect on how our behavior affects not only ourselves, but those around us. This call is not meant to be punitive. Rather, it is a profound invitation to grow. At first glance, accountability may feel like a heavy burden. After all, narcissists often resist ownership of their actions, preferring to deflect blame onto others. Yet God's call for accountability is a catalyst for change. It provides a framework for understanding the consequences of our behavior and the impact it has on relationships. When we embrace accountability, we create the space for healing to occur. The beauty of accountability lies in its ability to empower us. It transforms us from passive observers of our lives into active participants in our growth. God doesn't want us to simply exist. He desires for us to thrive. By recognizing our role in our experiences, we can take meaningful steps towards improvement. Accountability invites us to examine our motivations, actions, and the ripple effects they create in the world. Imagine a garden, a space filled with potential. When we neglect our responsibilities, weeds can quickly overtake that garden, stifling the growth of beautiful flowers. Accountability serves as the gardener's tool, allowing us to clear away the weeds and nurture the plants. By taking ownership of our actions, we create an environment where growth can flourish both in ourselves and in our relationships. Inviting the Spirit back into our lives, we learn to be independent members of the universe, improving our relationships with others. This process of accountability requires humility. It means acknowledging that we are not perfect and that we have room for growth. It can be uncomfortable to admit our flaws, especially when we've built an identity around perfection. However, in that discomfort lies an opportunity for profound transformation. God's call to accountability encourages us to let go of the need for perfection and embrace the journey of becoming better. Excellence is the name of the game today. It's a challenge in the English language. Crisis communications, crisis coach. Crisis coach? Crisis coach? When we hold ourselves accountable, we begin to develop a deeper understanding of empathy. We start to recognize the impact of our words and actions on others. This newfound awareness allows us to forge deeper connections as we learn to see the world through the eyes of those around us. It fosters a sense of community and collaboration, where empathy reigns over self-absorption. Furthermore, accountability breeds trust. When we take responsibility for our actions, we create a safe space for others to do the same. Trust is the foundation of any healthy relationship, and accountability reinforces that foundation. It assures others that we're willing to confront our shortcomings and learn from them, paving the way for open communication and vulnerability. Let's not forget the role of grace and accountability. While it's important to hold ourselves accountable, we must also extend that grace to ourselves and others. The journey of growth is not linear. It is filled with ups and downs. When we stumble, grace allows us to rise again, learn from our mistakes, and continue moving forward. It reminds us that accountability is not a means of punishment, but a pathway to growth. As we cultivate a culture of accountability, we must also encourage those around us to embrace this journey. It requires creating an environment where honesty and vulnerability are celebrated. By fostering a safe space for accountability, we empower others to take ownership of their actions, ultimately contributing to a more compassionate world. Together, we can uplift one another, supporting each other in our quests for growth and understanding. When we embrace God's call for accountability, we take significant steps towards healing. We no longer allow ourselves to be victims of circumstance. Instead, we become architects of our lives. This shift in mindset is powerful. It places the responsibility for our happiness and growth squarely in our hands, empowering us to create the lives we truly desire. In conclusion, accountability is not a burden, but a gift that can lead us to a life of authenticity and connection. God's call for accountability invites us to take responsibility for our actions, allowing us to grow and thrive. As we embrace this journey, we cultivate empathy, trust, and resilience, creating a ripple effect of positive change in the world. Together, let's rise to the challenge, supporting one another as we navigate the beautiful path of accountability. God provides opportunities for change. Life is a journey filled with choices, and within each moment lies the potential for transformation. God is constantly at work, creating opportunities for change that can redirect our paths and elevate our lives. These divine opportunities are gifts, meant to guide us away from self-centeredness and towards a greater sense of purpose. It's essential to recognize and seize these moments when they arise. So let's take advantage of the opportunities of change when they arise. When we reflect on our lives, we often find ourselves at crossroads, where we must make decisions that can shape our futures. These crossroads are God's opportunities for change, nudging us toward growth. The beauty of these moments is that they come wrapped in experiences that challenge us to confront our beliefs, habits, and behaviors. They serve as catalysts, propelling us toward a more authentic version of ourselves. Imagine standing before a door that represents a new opportunity. On the other side lies the unknown, a realm filled with potential for growth and transformation. It can be intimidating to open that door, especially when we are accustomed to the familiar. However, God encourages us to take that leap of faith. Every time we step through that door, we create space for new possibilities to unfold. These opportunities often come disguised as challenges. They may appear as setbacks, conflicts, or moments of discomfort. Yet if we choose to view them through the lens of growth, we can uncover the wisdom hidden within each experience. God uses these challenges to push us out of our comfort zones, urging us to expand our horizons and embrace change. Consider the story of a caterpillar transforming into a butterfly. This metamorphosis is not a smooth journey. It involves struggle and effort. The caterpillar must break free from its cocoon to emerge as a beautiful butterfly. Similarly, we must be willing to confront the challenges in our lives to experience the transformation that awaits us. God provides these opportunities for change to help us grow wings and soar to new heights. Embracing these moments requires an open heart and mind. We must be willing to release our fears and doubts, allowing God to guide us through the process. Each opportunity for change invites us to reflect on our choices, beliefs, and the paths we've taken. It's a chance to reevaluate our priorities and align them with our true values. As we navigate these opportunities, we learn valuable lessons about resilience and adaptability. Change is rarely comfortable, but it teaches us to bend without breaking. It cultivates strength and fortitude, enabling us to face future challenges with greater confidence. Each experience becomes a stepping stone, leading us closer to the person we aspire to be. In the midst of these opportunities, God also places people in our lives who serve as catalysts for change. These individuals may challenge us, inspire us, or support us on our journey. They provide perspective and insight, helping us see the potential within ourselves that we may have overlooked. Surrounding ourselves with those who encourage growth is vital in navigating our paths. When we recognize these divine opportunities for change, we begin to cultivate a mindset of gratitude. We understand that every experience, whether positive or negative, contributes to our growth. This shift in perspective allows us to embrace challenges with open arms, knowing that they are stepping stones toward our ultimate transformation. We become alchemists, turning obstacles into opportunities for growth. As we engage with these moments of change, it's essential to practice self-compassion. Transformation is a journey, and it's okay to stumble along the way. God's grace is always present, reminding us that we are deserving of love and acceptance, regardless of our progress. Embracing self-compassion allows us to navigate our journeys with kindness, fostering a deeper connection with ourselves and others. An example is comfort. Implementing resilience training is so important, and during COVID, God's grace has been available to us, helping us develop skills to navigate our journeys with kindness and resilience. Ultimately, God's provision of opportunities for change is a testament to his unwavering love. He desires for us to thrive and become the best versions of ourselves. By recognizing and embracing these moments, we step into a life filled with purpose and meaning. Each opportunity is an invitation to grow, learn, and evolve, shaping us into the individuals we are meant to be. As we move forward, let's remain open to the opportunities God places in our lives. Embrace the challenges, seek out the lessons, and trust in the divine guidance that accompanies you. Together, we can embark on a journey of transformation, celebrating each opportunity for change as a chance to become the best versions of ourselves. Vijay? The power of compassion. Compassion is one of the most powerful forces in the universe. It has the ability to heal wounds, bridge divides, and create profound connections. When we cultivate compassion within ourselves, we open our hearts to others, allowing love and understanding to flow freely. In the context of narcissism, compassion becomes a transformative tool that empowers us to break free from self-centeredness and embrace a life of connection. Subscription to Great Green Life helps alleviate many of the vices of the world. Emotional abuse, divorce that leaves us filled with regret. At its core, compassion is the ability to empathize with the struggles of others. It's recognizing that everyone has their battles, often hidden beneath the surface. When we see beyond the external facade, we begin to understand the pain and insecurity that drive narcissistic behavior. This understanding allows us to approach others with love rather than judgment, creating an environment where healing can occur. Imagine standing in someone else's shoes, feeling their pain and understanding their struggles. This is the essence of compassion. It invites us to look beyond our own experiences and connect with the humanity of others. When we practice compassion, we break down the walls of isolation and create a sense of belonging that nurtures the soul. Compassion is not merely a passive feeling, it requires action. It calls us to respond to the needs of others, offering our support and understanding. This can take many forms, whether it's a listening ear, a kind word, or a helping hand. Each act of compassion sends ripples of love into the world, reminding us that we are all interconnected. In a society often marked by self-absorption, compassion becomes a revolutionary act. It challenges the status quo and invites us to prioritize the well-being of others. When we choose to respond with compassion, we create a culture of empathy where kindness and understanding reign supreme. This shift in mindset is essential for overcoming narcissism, as it fosters deeper connections and authentic relationships.